Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, The Kimboy. It's another Simulkuy episode, and today I would like to talk about Hypo correlation set. So Hypo correlation set is a method or a correlation set to estimate the properties of a hypothetical component. As we know, when we want to input a hypothetical component, we need to supply some information, but not all of the information will be supplied, and rest of the information will be estimated by the software. So far, we don't really get a chance to know what method used by the software to estimate the hypos. And in UniSim design, we actually have the way to explore various methods to estimate a hypos. So that's where the hypothetical correlation set take a part. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Hypo correlation set. Okay, so this is the simulation software that I will use for the demonstration. I use UniSim design. So first we will add a fluid package. I will use Pine Robinson for this case. Next, if you see the fourth tab here at the simulation basis manager, it is the hypo correlation sets. So we'll take a look. As a default, there are 5 available hypercorrelation sets. Yeah. The first one is crude hypo group set. So this group set enables the user to estimate hypoparameter by only supplying the boiling point information. So this is very useful, especially when we have a crude or we have a hydrocarbon which have a very high boiling point, or in other words, it's a very heavy hydrocarbon. And when we create a crude hypo, yeah, if we click the hypotheticals and then we click add crude hypos, we could see that the created crude hypo have a default crude hypo group set as a default of the estimation. The next one is a default set. So as the name implies, it is the default when we use it for assays, blends, lumper, and also the lumpers. The next one is hypo group default set. So this is a default set if we want to create a hypothetical for a group. So when we click at here to create a new group, you could see that the default group will be using hypo group default set as an estimation method. While the other two, shell default and also UOP default, use different methods, using shell and also UOP estimation method to estimate the hypothetical parameters. If you're curious on how each of the correlation sets estimate the parameters, so I have shown a table here that show the estimation methods of every correlation sets. Yeah, you could see that each of the correlation sets has a very unique way of estimation, so that makes the results different one from another. If you see, there are a lot of defaults here, and what's actually a default method here. So I have shown a new table. Yeah, you could see that the default method is not a very certain one. It depends on other parameters such as the NBP or the liquid density of the hypothetical components. So now let's try to create a sample of hypo. Yeah, from this component list, go to the hypo components. We will try to use a quick create hypo component. Okay, I will name it as hypothesis. Okay. Yeah, so this is the part where we enter the properties that we know. For example, I will use a boiling point of 200 Celsius. And if I click the estimate unknown properties, the other properties will be calculated or estimated by the software. So you could see that the molecular weight, the density, all will be calculated by software by only supplying the normal boiling point information. Now, how to change the estimation properties? Yeah, we go to this group. You could see our hypothesis is here. We can change the hypogroup default set to default set, or to the crude hypo group set, or shell default correlation set, or UOP. You could see that the molecular weight, liquid density will be very different from each other. So we need to be careful with this, because different set will produce a different estimation result. Okay, so be careful with hypos. The next thing that we can try is by creating crude hypos. For example, name is crude test. The first final boiling point is 150, for example. The temperature increment of 15 with the number of cut 5. Okay, so the endpoint will be at 2 to 5 Celsius. Okay, so we click this create keyword hypos, and we could see that the set of hypo generated with the default method of crude hypo group set. Okay, so if we change this group set for estimation, it will change the result. Okay, so it's another proof that we need to be careful with the selection of this group set because it will change the result. The next thing, we also could try this on a oil manager, enter oil environment. Then we create an assay. For example, I will use book properties and also ASTM D86. Yeah, this is just an example. So I will use less data for this. Okay. Then the book properties density, for example, 900. Calculate. So here you could see at the correlation tabs that the selected set for the default one is using the default set, but we could change this. Yeah. For example, by using UOP, and then we click the calculate button. Yeah. So it will recalculate the other parameters, yeah, like the molecular weight, the specific gravity, and others. Okay, so that's it. I hope this gave you a clear view of how a hypocorrelation sets work. And it is very vital when we have a simulation that use hypothetical components. We need to be careful when selecting this group set. So yeah, I hope this video is useful for you and see you at the next Simulkuy episode. Bye bye.